This episode is brought to you by Welch's Fruit Snacks. Back to school season can be tough on parents, but choosing a snack you and your kids can both get behind doesn't have to be. Stock up on Welch's Fruit Snacks, made with whole fruit, and now made with no artificial dyes. It's a snack kids already love, and one you can feel good about giving them. Go back to school with Welch's Fruit Snacks, now made with no artificial dyes.
Hey friends, Olivia from Ollie. Between new routines and the ultimate group project known as parenting, you need science-backed solutions that work with your life. That's where Ollie comes in. Start your mornings off right with multis made to support nutrition and immune health. Choose from our lineup of gut-supporting probiotics, and we've got occasional sleep support to help the whole fam chase their big dreams. Head back to class with the #1 gummy supplement brand. Stock up on ollie.com today. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Right now, get up to 15% off select storage solutions. Put heavy-duty HDX totes to good use, protecting what's important to you. The solid, impact-resistant design prevents cracking, and the clear base and sides make items easy to find even when the totes are stacked. Find select shelving and tote storage up to 15% off at the Home Depot to organize every room in your home, from your garage to your attic. Visit HomeDepot.com. How doers get more done.
Chronic migraine, 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more, can make me feel like a spectator in my own life.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine. It's not for those with 14 or fewer headache days a month. It's the #1 prescribed branded chronic migraine preventive treatment.
Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Why wait? Ask your doctor, visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com, or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
The Dental Download podcast is your source for insight from conversations with fellow dentists, specialists, and leaders in the industry. With new episodes every Monday morning, I'm your host, Dr. Haley. Let's get into this week's episode. If you didn't already listen to part 1, this is part 2 of my great conversation with Dr. G. So let's roll right into it.
As a new grad, from my perspective, you're killing it. And I feel like you're doing everything you can, like you said, to catapult your trajectory faster and get to what your goals are quicker by not being complacent and not sticking in offices where you're not growing and where you're not thriving. So I feel like you're doing everything that you can. Tell us a little bit about your why behind why dentistry. I've heard your story a little bit on TikTok, but for people that don't know you or haven't heard, if you're open to sharing that.
The reason why I wanted to become a dentist is when I was 15, my teeth were knocked out in a traumatic accident in gym class. Number 9 was completely avulsed in a cup of milk for 3.5 hours. 23 and 24 were fractured ILFD all the way to the gum line. So my teeth were knocked out in the traumatic accident, and holding the cup of milk, I just wanted my smile back. So we go to the dentist and he's like, well, I'm not touching you. You need to go to the endodontist. So the endodontist re-implants number 9 after it's been out of my mouth for 3.5 hours, and then does an emergency root canal on my fractured teeth. I go to orthodontist. He puts braces back on to stabilize number 9, and then makes me an Essex retainer with composite bonding on 23 and 24, because they were like, we're not going to do anything definitive on your bottom teeth until it's been a couple years to see how it is. So for a whole year at 15, I had to take out the Essex retainer to eat. Okay. This is when your image is everything. And so I had braces on for another year. I had PTSD. I was really just sad and upset about the situation. But before that, I had prayed to God, like, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? And then my teeth get knocked out. And I was like, God, this is not how I wanted to find out what I'm supposed to do. So when my smile was restored and I got composite bonding on my lower front teeth and the braces taken off, I just realized the power of dentistry. My whole life changed. I had my confidence back because when I was going through that, I would talk like this throughout that whole year. So when patients come in and they are so ashamed of their smile or don't have the confidence, I relate to them on a level no one will understand. When patients lose teeth, the only provider that would know what it's like is me because I went through it. I lived it. I've been there. And my parents didn't have dental insurance. Everything had to be out of pocket. So when patients even talk about that, I know all about it. I didn't have dental insurance, health insurance my whole life. So my parents own their own businesses and that was just not something that they had. So I realized that dentistry is a luxury. And then I just realized this is what I want to do forever. I want to give someone their smile back. I want someone else to be able to have the confidence to smile and be the reason for that. And so my traumatic accident is truly the reason why I wanted to become a dentist, because if that didn't happen to me, I still would have no idea what I'd do with a biology degree.
That's incredible. Thank you for sharing. And like you said, there's most people, like 99% of people just do not have any experience nearly like that they can actually relate to patients. Like in dental school, when we'd have those lectures where we'd check each other's mouths and do all these things, like 80% of people are like, I've never had a cavity. And then half the class is, my parents are dentists. My teeth are perfect. And you're like, let me tell you about this terrible thing that happened. I'm curious too, when you were mentioning your parents and you've mentioned that your brothers are very successful and you're doing well. Tell me a little bit about what you hope to pass on to your future kids through this work ethic that you've learned and what you've gathered from your parents, from how they've raised you.
So my parents did not go to college. My dad turns 80 this year. So that can also shed light on not going to college, because back in his day when they were growing up, no one really went to college. It just wasn't a thing. There were so many other trades you could do and still be successful. Nowadays, I feel like going to college is a minimum, and then getting higher education, you have to do. Going to college sometimes isn't enough anymore. And so because my parents didn't go to college, they wanted us to just have a hard work ethic. So at 16, we had to have jobs. So the car that they had bought us, we had to pay for the insurance every summer. We had to pay for our books in college. We had to really just use that summer money to pay for things. So they did reward us when we did well. We had to work for it. And, my parents really just wanted to make sure that we were super successful and did well in school. We went to a prep school for high school. And then that prep school, they require you to go to college. They have 100% success rate of getting into college. And so if you're not going to college, they'll kick you out. I know of one person who got kicked out because they weren't going to college. So because we all had to go to college, I think all of us really found what we wanted to do in different ways. My teeth were knocked out, so that's how I found out I wanted to be a dentist. My parents were never like, you have to go to higher education. They just really wanted us to be happy in whatever we were doing, because my mom hates the dentist. She didn't go for 20 years. So for me to become a dentist, she wasn't like, you need to be a dentist because you're going to be successful that way. And it was just my passion. And my brothers found out that they wanted to be attorneys just through law school. Like my older brother went to a very different viewpoint school and wanted to know more about that. And so he applied to one law school, got accepted. My younger brother went to the same law school, and that was kind of nice to have them follow in each other's footsteps. But my younger brother, he wasn't always the student who did really well in school. So we were most surprised by him. Because I remember in college, like he just wasn't doing well. And then we lived together and he ended up getting dean's list because he saw how I studied and kind of motivated him to study. And then he found himself reading and writing and enjoying that. And then he's like, I think I want to go advance my education and go to the same law school that my older brother did. So I think my older brother kind of inspired my younger brother at the same time. But my fiance and I did talk about how we're going to raise our kids. And yes, they're going to go to prep schools and they're going to go to private schools and then they have to go to college. So my fiance didn't go to college either. And he's happy with what he does. He's been with Whole Foods since he was 18 and has worked his way up. And I think that's great. College is not for everyone, but because of what it did for my life and all of that, I do want my kids to go to college and our kids to go to college. Whether they go to higher education, that's on them if they want to do that. I won't pay for them to go to the higher education just like my parents didn't, because then there needs to still be value in it. But my parents just really wanted us to be happy and to work hard and never give up. And if I didn't have them, I wouldn't be where I'm at, because it was a lot, even financially for my parents, paying $5,000 every summer to reapply to dental school. And my mom, I remember the third time I was applying, she was like, how many more times are you going to reapply? And I said, until I get in. And that's when she knew how serious I was about wanting to become a dentist. So as long as you have the drive and the hard work ethic, because we had to have jobs since we were 16. I mean, my parents would have had us have jobs if 13 was allowed. So that's just something they wanted us to really understand the value of money and understand what it takes to have a hard work ethic, because I know people who their first job is a doctor, and that's kind of scary. You've never gotten a paycheck. You don't know how much is taken out. You don't know what it means to be a responsible person. And I think that's fine. My kids won't have that luxury. They're going to be working the second that they can get a job.
I've talked about that with my husband a bit too. Obviously, we're going to be very privileged. We can earn a good living as dentists, but how can you give your kids a reality check that you want to support them in their educations and their passions and sports and what all these things, but you need to figure out what it means to work for a whole day and you get $40. You got to have that humbling a little bit to have some good perspective. I'm curious too, I know you said you went from Florida to Arizona and you're back like in the area you were familiar with from dental school, but really you could have gone anywhere in the country. And I'm in rural Michigan where I work, and I went more rural because I was like, I'll be busier, I can make more money, I like a slower pace of living. How did you figure out where you wanted to be?
So I'm not a person who I grew up in Pittsburgh, lived there for 22 years. I really went to school close to home. I was 2.5 hours away, went home every weekend. I really just enjoyed being home. So when I graduated from college, I moved to Naples, Florida. And that's where my older brother was going to law school. And that's where I was a dental assistant for 3 years and worked at Whole Foods. So I really liked it because I was comparing Naples to Pittsburgh. And I was like, this is better. So I only had one thing to compare it to. And my parents still live in Pittsburgh. And so when I came here for my interview, I got off the plane and I was like, Mom, I love it. And she's like, you haven't even seen the school yet. Like, what do you mean you love it? Because coming to my interview here was the first time I'd ever been in Arizona. And I was like, this is it. And so when I got the call, I was like, this is where I'm going. I'm so excited. And I feel like every person has a place that just like calls them and is the place for them. And I feel like Arizona is that for me. So Arizona, the weather is absolutely beautiful. People can say it's too hot and whatever, but I'd rather have too much heat than to shovel snow again in the winter in Pittsburgh. And to have hurricanes, no thank you. I've lived through enough. And I don't like rain. And if I want to see fall or spring or go skiing, I can drive. But I'm in my little happy bubble here. And I feel like the food in Arizona, the hiking, the people, the shopping, everything is just right here. And I can drive to another state if I want to. In Florida, in Naples, we're all the way at the bottom and there's hurricanes, rain every day. I'm really not a beach person. I'd rather go hike Camelback Mountain than go get a different kind of sandy and in the water. And I think like the shopping there wasn't that great. They didn't get an aloe until 2024, 2025. Okay. First problem. And then I was just called to come back to here because once I lived in Naples after I graduated, so I lived here for 4 years, moved to Naples again. And I thought that I was going to love it just like I did after I graduated college. But once I had Arizona to compare it to, I was like, no way. The food isn't that good. There's no hiking. The shopping isn't that great. I could have saved more money, but I was like, I need to move back to where I was because I was happy there. So there is no reason why you should not live somewhere where you're happy. So that is number one, because your environment is so important. And my parents wanted me to come move to Pittsburgh all the time. They still ask me, are you going to move back? No, I'm not going to move back. I absolutely love Arizona. And I think to live anywhere in the world, we had this whiteboard in our office that said, if you could live anywhere, where would you live? And I literally said right here, because it is just the most perfect place to live. And I've lived in 3 different places, and Pittsburgh's a great city. It's a big city, but also a small city. There are good restaurants. There is good shopping. The school system is great. And that is something that I will give it. but to be close to my parents, but then not be happy, it's not the point of life. You need to live where you're happy. And so I wanted to come back here. I would have moved to Scottsdale, but the opportunities weren't in Scottsdale at the time. I still could see myself living in Paradise Valley. That is the goal. But I think for right now, I love Gilbert and I love it's like up and coming. There's so many new shops coming. The Whole Foods is literally going to be right next to us. And right now for my dogs, I need to come home for lunch. And so if I lived in Paradise Valley, they'd be home alone for 8 hours. And so until I'm more established, they're more trained, then I could make that move. Because a lot of people do look at me and kind of stereotype, but not really. And they're like, oh, you live in Scottsdale. It's like, no, I live in Gilbert. And it just has that vibe. But at the same time, I really do like the smaller feel of Gilbert. And I was comfortable here because I went to school 10 minutes away and it has everything I need.
I love Arizona too. I've been there more times than you would think as someone that's from Michigan, went to school in Michigan, still lives in Michigan. Because a lot of the CE is there, like you said. I've gone to multiple different types of CE, all honestly very close to literally where you live. And it's beautiful there. And then it's becoming more of a bachelorette destination, I feel like. So that's been another thing too. But I'm curious when it comes to the fact that you're an associate and everything. Tell me a little bit about, do you want to stay an associate and have that kind of flexibility so you can not have business stuff on your mind all the time? Or do you eventually want to be a practice owner or like partner in a group practice?
I would love to partner. If I could partner with him, at this office, I totally would. This is the office that I do see myself at forever. I also would love to be an owner doc, but partnering is close enough. I always look at everything from like a business perspective. I feel like that's just in me because I had worked for 3 years as a dental assistant before dental school where he was just getting his practice going. And because of that experience, I've looked at everything from a business perspective, but I just want to own my own. Just right now, it's not the time because I also told myself that if I didn't get this job I was at, I was going to do a startup because I was so fed up with the job market that I told my mom if I did not get this job I had when I was applying after that second job, that I would have just started from scratch because that's how desperate I was, that I just was not happy. And that I needed something that was mine, that I knew that I was going to love and just run from the beginning. The sole reason why I also became a dentist is to own my own business, like own my own practice. And that's something I still see for myself. I think that would be something in the next, hopefully, couple of years. But I think because I have that in the back of my mind, it makes me work differently as an associate. Because if you don't have the numbers, they're not going to want a partner, So I think I hustle more and do more because that is the end goal. And so they need to see that too, because you need to be a good business asset. And, I picked up another Friday for them. Like I'll do anything because this is where I would love to end up and partner.
I really relate to you on that too, because I'm in an office with a few other doctors and they've just partnered in like a first person. It was always a solo owner and they've always been very transparent from the beginning. Like that's definitely something we can explore, which I love because same thing, you go into dentistry and all you really see is single owners, dudes, most of the time, old men running practices. Now there's more women in dentistry, but really nowadays it's a totally different landscape. It's way more like group practices and partnering. And if we're so fortunate to find a place that we align with, it's like, why make it that much harder on yourself to go out on your own then if you already feel so aligned with these people? And like you said, your office is running so efficiently. How much time and energy would it take to go from scratch and try to recreate all that when you can just ride this wave and keep growing and being an asset and making their office even better? So I'm totally hear what you're saying. Can you tell me anything that if you had a new grad sitting with you, maybe they're in their first job, what would be your main points of advice that you would want to tell them?
Dr. G talks a lot in this episode about that topic of delayed gratification. And with that comes some financial sacrifices as well. If you're in the same boat of trying to navigate your finances as a new grad dentist, definitely check out our sponsor, Twin Leaf Advisors. Twin Leaf Financial Advisors is who I personally have trusted from the end of dental school through now with my own financial advising. You can go to twinleafadv.com or text 321-521-3133 to get your free consultation scheduled. Jumpstart your financial future with Twin Leaf Advisors.
Can you tell me anything that if you had a new grad kind of sitting with you, maybe they're in their first job, what would be your main points of advice that you would want to tell them?
If you're a new grad, the best things to do, one, invest in a high dental camera. If you need a link, it's on my Amazon storefront. But that's the best thing you can do for before and afters for Invisalign or cosmetic dentistry. Because if you can't market it well, what's the point of even doing it? And I think building your brand on social media is very important. Just putting yourself out there, because you never know what people are going to connect with. I've had more patients come because of my morning routines than because of my dental content. I would say invest in continuing education that you are excited about and that you want to do, as well as what's going to benefit your patients. Never put a limit on what you want to do or invest in. And don't be afraid to walk away from an opportunity that's not meant for you or that doesn't align with you. I think that takes a really strong, bold person, and there's going to be an office out there that is for you and that you're going to be happy and successful at, even if it's the third like me. Your first job may not be your end all be all. And if it is, you're very blessed. Because it's not easy, but you need a good support system, because the right office can truly make or break your experience as a dentist. And just having a good community, because dentistry can sometimes get pretty lonely. You're talking to these patients and then you're coming home and you're kind of drained and you feel like you're the only one going through a certain situation. But having other friends that are like, I've been there, I've done that, I can help you, it just makes it so much better. So that's what I would say if I had a new grad right here.
Love that. And thank you again so much for all the time you gave us today. And I really hope people will jump over to your social media if they're not already there. So could you tell us your TikTok page or any other socials so that people can follow along and reach out if they have questions?
Thank you so much for having me. Honestly, I was so excited. I've been watching your podcast and I was like, I wonder if I'll ever get to go on. So thank you so much. It really means a lot to me. And I've loved that social media can bring you connected with other dentists. I had just met another dentist that was here this past weekend from TikTok. And, I've met other ones in the past. And I really love that, because dentistry is such a small, tight-knit family. And so I think knowing other people, knowing other perspectives can really help you. But my TikTok and my Instagram is Dr. Dr. and then Gianna Tommarello. So I look forward to having you and showing you more of my life, because I really feel like I post more of my life than dental stuff. But thank you.
Class is now in session, and the UPS Store is here to help you ace arriving on campus. Our certified packing experts can pack everything you need, from desktops to decor. Plus, when you pack and ship with us, you get our exclusive pack and ship guarantee. Your items arrive safe or your money back. Restrictions and limitations apply. To get a 20% off packing coupon and for full details, visit theupsstore.com/packing.
Close your eyes, exhale, feel your body relax, and let go of whatever you're carrying today.
Well, I'm letting go of the worry that I wouldn't get my new contacts in time for this class. I got them delivered free from 1-800-CONTACTS. Oh my gosh, they're so fast.
And breathe.
Oh, sorry. I almost couldn't breathe when I saw the discount they gave me on my first order. Oh, sorry. Namaste.
Visit 1-800-CONTACTS.com today to save on your first order.
1-800-CONTACTS.
Hello? Look what TJ Maxx dragged in.
The Devil Wears Prada 2 is now streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu.
We are digital, we are downloadable, we are streamable.
The fashion event of the year is certified fresh.
Pull yourself together, we have work to do.
Critics say it's smart and witty and the perfect sequel.
That's all.
Get runway ready for The Devil Wears Prada 2 on Disney Plus and Hulu. Rated PG-13.
Capture your favorite summer feeling with Pandora Jewelry. Discover a collection inspired by the sunshine, freedom, and moments that make the season unforgettable. From sun-kissed metals to personalized pieces, ready to be engraved with your summer mantra. Each design moves with you, from beach days to golden nights and every memory in between. Shop Pandora Jewelry's new summer collection, in-store or online at pandora.net, and let your summer unfold.
Traditional home security only alerts you after a break-in, and that's too late. SimpliSafe is changing that.
Stop. This is SimpliSafe. Police are on the way.
We don't just alert, we stop crime before it starts. SimpliSafe, plan starting around $1 a day. Save 50% on your new system with professional monitoring at simplisafe.com/Spotify or with promo code Spotify.
Outdoor deterrence requires a SimpliSafe Active Guard outdoor protection plan starting at $49.99 a month. Visit simplisafe.com/licenses for alarm license information. Tennessee 2012.